Welcome to Scofield Farm. I'm Carice. Today I am attempting to finally plant these onions. It has been a year and here it is December. It's actually the middle of December and I haven't planted out my onions yet, which I usually plant out mid-November in our Northern California Zone 9B garden on our little family farm homestead, 3.5 acres. Right outside the second sunniest city in California. Well, no, in the US actually. I think we're the sunniest city in California. But all that said, I would love to have you join me. And I am here to show you that you can grow food in little pockets and windows of time that might not seem ideal, but it is possible. I am like hurrying to do this before I take my girls to a big dress rehearsal for their dance show. Also, I'm here to show you that you can grow food even when life does not look ideal. It does not look like the Pinterest board. It does not look like maybe your favorite YouTube channel. Yes, I also watch gardening YouTube channels, even though I'm on here. It might not be the way you want it to look, but it is possible to do things that aren't ideal and to have really good results. So I am planting my onions about a month and a half late, but I believe I will still get a harvest from these. And so even unideal, it's worth it. So I'm gonna start by just doing one tray of onions. I actually have 3 of these. The varieties I did this year are Valencia onion. I did a red burgundy onion. I think I did these from Save Seeds from my garden last year. I let one onion bolt, save the seeds, replant them. It's a great way to make growing food affordable and sustainable. This other one that doesn't have that many in it really is Rosa di Milano. It's a red onion that I ordered. I think it was from Redwood Seeds. I will check and let you know. I love onions. I feel like they're such a good food to grow in the garden. Sometimes for me, they will bolt, which just means they go to seed. But if that happens, I will harvest most of those to use as spring onions in the spring. And that way we will use the whole onion, the underdeveloped bulb and the greens. And the ones that don't bolt or don't go to seed, I will harvest them more like midsummer when they're nice and round and we can cut the greens off after they dry. We can cure the onion and we can store it. Not for super long because we don't have cold storage here in Northern California. We don't have things like basements. It's really cool other places do. I wish we did. But we use onions so much that we can eat the ones we use. And if they start to look like they need to be used, we'll cut them up and freeze them or dehydrate them. First thing I like to do, I like to trim off the tops. You don't have to trim off the tops. I just feel like this helps the onion kind of stand up better when I first plant it till its roots really go down and grab the soil. Just a little haircut. I don't have any perfect length. I just want them to stand up a little bit when I plant them. You will see some onions already growing in my garden that are decent size. These are ones I failed to harvest last year. That's okay, they're coming back. Those will probably bolt because onions are more of a biennial bloom, which means they bloom every other year, and I'll either save seeds from those or I will eat them as spring onions. I'm gonna push aside the wood chips for planting, and I like to plant on the perimeter of my beds around the edges so I can grow other things in the middle come springtime when I'm ready to plant out things like peppers, which you will see dead in here, or beans or tomatoes, eggplant. I can plant those in the middle. So I'm trying to show you what I do. I'm just gonna brush this aside. I'm gonna take this little stick. I'm gonna use it like a pencil. I'm gonna make a little hole about 4 to 6 inches apart. And then I will slip my little onion in there just to the color change. So I have an onion right here. I'm gonna space it out there. And I'm gonna separate some of my onions. I don't think I'm gonna have time to do all these today, but even getting some in the ground before we get rain tomorrow will be helpful. Just separate onions out like that. I will link to a video where I start them in trays. It's very easy. I sprinkle a bunch of seeds in a tray and then I fill it with seed starter mix and water. And I'll plant it till right where the color changes, right there. It gives you a good idea. I might make 2 rows here. I like to do kind of a checkered board style. It kind of maximizes room, I have found. One thing I have tried to share consistently with you guys on this channel is that life does not have to look perfect and ideal. And mine surely does not look perfect or ideal. But I got to talk to one of you this last weekend at a craft fair that I was doing. And I was so encouraged to hear that me showing the imperfections actually is helping someone else have confidence in growing food. I think I need like a little thing for kneeling so that I don't get, in the wintertime, either my knees of my pants completely wet or the butt of my pants completely wet. I don't think either are very ideal circumstances to have. Oh. So as I was saying, ideals are not helpful. I feel like for so many years of my life, I tried to keep up with what ideals were. I don't even know who made these ideals. I don't know if it was something I read or heard or just assumed, but I felt like I was falling short so often. Sometimes I even still will feel like I'm falling short. And that's why I like to share the real process that we take. We are a big family. We have 7 kids. Life is not going to look cookie cutter textbook ideal when there's so many possibilities for interruptions or different life circumstances with someone in our family that makes something not go quite right. So I like to share the real life with you so you know you're not alone. And I've got a kid yelling for me right now. You know you're not alone and things can be done in a very real way. And when I hit this charred bush, there's so many bugs that come out. I'm not sure if you see that, but that shows the unideal reality of an organic garden. No, we don't use sprays. They're like these little green things. I don't know if they're aphids or some other green thing, but you know what is cool? When you let things be organic, you have things like these worms that also are allowed to thrive, just like allowing there to be the bad bugs that hopefully the good bugs will come eat. Got a little row right here, 2 deep checkerboard. I'm glad I didn't wait until I could get everything done. I'm gonna get done what I can get done and not let ideals or not being able to live up to ideals of getting all the onions today done at the same time hold me back from growing food I can grow. I was thinking today, should I do cleanup in my garden or, I just dumped all of these onions out. Oh my gosh. Should I do cleanup in my garden or should I plant? And I think since it's supposed to rain tomorrow for, I want to say it said 8 days, I should definitely plant and then let the rain water in the work that I do today. I think that's the best use of my time. Sometimes I think of the movie, really old movie, like in the 90s or maybe the 80s, called What About Bob with Richard Dreyfuss and Bill Murray. Bill Murray is super annoying, like OCD kind of guy. And yet I relate to him sometimes because this book or course or something that Richard Dreyfuss wrote in the movie was called Baby Steps. And it was life-changing. It was like baby steps to do this, baby steps to do that, baby steps to do this. And for me, I have to break down life that way, or the big picture and the big cool plans I have can feel paralyzing and overwhelming because I am not doing the next thing because it feels like I have to do all the things. No, it's okay. I give you permission right now. Do the next thing. And if that means only planting one tray when you have 3, or only planting half the tray because you don't have time to do the whole thing, it is still worthwhile. It's still worth it. It's still a baby step to get to whatever your goals are, whatever your plans are. It's worth taking the next step and not waiting until you can do it perfect or do it ideal or do it right or the way that you think it's supposed to be done. Just do something and you will grow food. And I will grow onions, and you will be with me in the summer when we actually harvest this. And if you are not subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe. I'd love for you to hit the bell so you get alerts. I'd love for you to like this video if you like things that are real and want to see gardening and homesteading in ways that may be imperfect, but it actually grows food and raises animals in an unideal world and life. I'm here to share it with you, all the stuff. And since I didn't remove these dead beans, I'm gonna have to do that to keep planting in this area. Now these, I actually believe are good to use as mulch. I'm gonna put them aside to kind of remulch this bed with because bean plants are full of good nitrogen plus organic matter. These are soil. It's one of the ones I actually like to cut down, crinkle up the leaves, and go ahead and mulch the bed that they were in with the dead plant. I found part of our irrigation got a little messed up here. So this is gonna have to be fixed by my husband before I turn it on. Luckily it's gonna rain. I don't need to turn it on, but I'm gonna make that mental note, that note on this video to remind him we got some fixing to do in this garden. All right, brushing the wood chips aside just for the planting. I think this is what happened. This came off. This is supposed to go here somehow. So I'll put that there for him. All right, how many more of these can we get done in the little time I have left? Oh, I am so excited. So much anticipation for when this is food to eat. Try to get organized and go quick. I think I have about 10 minutes before I have to go in and do hair and makeup and all that. So this is going to be quick. And this is definitely going to be a chore for another day. I had found another stick. I don't know what I did with my other one. That's why the handy stick that's already in the garden is great, because I don't feel bad about losing it. All right, let's see if we can get that little corner over there to be done too. Oh, and I find a piece of an acorn, which means we're going to be growing oak trees in our garden beds as well. Not exactly what I planned on, but it is definitely what the squirrels have planned on. Oh dear. Coexisting with nature can be quite the adventure. Yep, having this organized, this is making this part go faster. Oops. Okay. Gotta cut this out or I can't plant there. I like to cut my plants at the soil line so that their roots and stuff can decompose. It does not always work out the way that I planned for, but when it does work, it's pretty awesome. Sometimes I have to cut a little deeper because when you plant before it decomposes, there's not always room for your new plant. I've learned that the hard way more than one time. Okay. We're getting some of these in pretty quickly. For that, I'm glad. Prep a couple more of those. That was really nice to have them laid out. All right, I think I can only get a handful more of these in because real life is calling. I am a mama who serves my family in the different ways they need to be served. One of those ways is growing food, making food, buying food at the grocery store. But another way is taking them and being their taxi to the places we've committed for them to go. And so I am honored today to be interrupted in what my plans were to help my girls with their plans. And I will pick up here where I left off on another day. And we will see these onions grow together as the winter goes by, then the spring, and then the summer when the exciting time of harvest finally comes. And onions are one of my favorite things to grow, so I want to share more with you about them as we go along this new year in 2025. I can't believe it is almost upon us of growing food. Tell me, let me know in the comments if you are growing onions. Have you already planted them? Do you still need to plant? Some areas and zones you actually are not supposed to plant until early spring. And so it doesn't mean you're late like me wherever you live. Every place is different. Some of you have ground that is frozen, and so you wouldn't be able to get onions into a frozen ground anyway. We live someplace where our lows, you know, we will hit freezing, 32, that kind of stuff. We even got down to 25 one night. That was like a real killing frost in our garden, but that's not often, and it's not like that during the daytime. So the soil warms up and we can grow things, some things, all year round. Not tomatoes unless they're in a greenhouse, but we can grow something the whole year, and I'm so thankful for that blessing. Okay guys, I'm gonna finish up here. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for joining me. I hope somebody was encouraged that things don't have to look ideal. They don't have to be perfect, and it's better for you to grow something late than never. So Tell me what you're growing. Tell me if you're growing onions. I want to hear from you in the comments. I love to interact with you guys. I love having you with me. I hope we can grow good food together and we can encourage each other that things can be real and they can be wonderful in their messy, real nature.